something's not right in Cleveland, and Louis Riddick just called it out. While most fans are focused on stats, camp highlights, and rookie hype, there's a darker story unfolding behind the scenes. According to Riddick, it's not about football anymore. It's about fear, ego, and a front office terrified of what Shedeur Sanders might expose, not with words, but with performance. Imagine this. You've got a rookie quarterback lighting up training camp, not just playing well, but carving up defenses with NFL-ready precision. 3 red zone touchdowns, a near 75% completion rate, all with second-team talent around him. That's Shedeur Sanders right now. And yet, he's being buried, pushed behind veterans, overlooked in favor of a third-round pick who can't even crack 55% completions with the first-team offense. Why? Because the Browns front office can't afford to be embarrassed. Riddick dropped a bombshell. He says the team is manipulating reps, protecting their draft pick, and ignoring what's happening on the field, all to avoid looking wrong. And the worst part? He's not wrong. This isn't just another QB battle. It's a power struggle between performance and politics. And what happens next could define the future of the Browns for the next decade. Let's break down what Louis Riddick just exposed, and why the NFL world is finally waking up to the truth about Shedeur Sanders. On paper, it looks simple. Dillon Gabriel was taken in the 3rd round, Shedeur Sanders in the 5th. But what Louis Riddick exposed flips that logic on its head. This isn't just about 2 rookies fighting for a spot. It's about the front office fighting to protect their image. You see, in the NFL, where you're drafted isn't just a number. It's a reflection of the people pulling the strings. And when a 5th rounder starts outshining a 3rd-round investment, it makes those executives look incompetent. Riddick laid it out with brutal honesty. The Browns don't want Shedeur to win this battle, because if he does, it means they got it wrong. Again, this isn't a talent issue, it's a pride issue. The same front office that's failed to find a franchise QB for over a decade is now watching a kid they barely took a chance on dominate training camp. And instead of embracing that surprise success, they're quietly panicking behind the scenes. The truth? Shedeur's biggest obstacle isn't another quarterback. It's the egos in the front office. But what happens when talent becomes too loud to ignore? While the front office plays politics, Shedeur Sanders just keeps doing one thing: balling out. On day 4 of Browns training camp, Shedeur didn't just perform, he put on a clinic. 8 completions on 11 attempts. That's a 73% completion rate. 3 touchdowns. And every single one came in red zone situations, the toughest area to score in. Now here's the twist. He did it all with the second team. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd-round Golden Boy, got the premium setup. First-team offensive line, top receivers, full reps. His numbers? 8 for 15, 1 touchdown. Barely 50% completions. Even Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett couldn't keep up. Shedeur outplayed every QB on that field, and he did it without the tools they were given. This isn't just talent, it's composure, timing, leadership. It's the stuff NFL starters are made of. But instead of being celebrated, Shedeur is quietly pushed to the back of the line. No headlines, no praise, just silence. That's why this moment matters. Because while the cameras chase the big names, Shedeur is building something real, something undeniable. And if he keeps playing like this, the silence won't last much longer. Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to be this good. Not yet. Not in camp. Not with the second string. And that's exactly what has the Browns front office sweating bullets. Louis Riddick didn't hold back. He called it out for what it is: fear. Fear that a 5th-round pick might outshine the guy they hyped as the future. Fear that fans, media, and ownership will start asking the one question they can't answer: why isn't the best quarterback playing? This isn't about competition anymore. It's about control. The same executives who fumbled quarterback decisions for over a decade now face a harsh reality. Shedeur, the afterthought pick, might actually be their best shot at turning the franchise around. But admitting that means exposing their draft board as a failure. So what do? They limit reps. They manipulate depth charts. They pretend it's just a process. But the truth? They'd rather protect their own reputations than put the best player on the field. It's not just petty, it's dangerous. Because if they keep playing politics, they won't just ruin a season, they could ruin the future. And Shedeur, he's not the problem, he's the proof. On the surface, it looks like a crowded quarterback room. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. 4 guys competing. But Louis Riddick saw through the smokescreen and exposed what's really going on. Reps are everything in camp. The more you get, the more chances you have to prove yourself. And when only one guy is getting the lion's share with the starters, the narrative starts writing itself. Dillon Gabriel is getting first-team snaps, first-team receivers, first-team line. Meanwhile, Shedeur's stuck with second stringers and fewer opportunities to shine. But here's the sick part. That's not an accident. Riddick called it strategic manipulation. By flooding the QB room, the Browns front office can control who rises and who fades. It's not about who's best. It's about who looks best on paper. Give Gabriel the volume, and when stats are compared, they'll say, well, he just had more time to develop. Convenient, right? But Shedeur's making that excuse harder to sell with every snap he takes. Because even with limited reps and subpar support, he's making NFL throws. He's winning with less. And that's what scares them the most. He's too good to bury quietly. If this story sounds familiar, it should. We've seen it before. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, both drafted outside the first 2 rounds. Both entered camp behind more polished quarterbacks. And both forced their way into starting roles by doing exactly what Shedeur Sanders is doing now, outplaying everyone. Louis Riddick knows this history, and he's watching the Browns repeat it. Except this time, the front office is resisting the script. Riddick said it clearly. For a mid-round QB to win the job, they have to leave no doubt. Not just play well, dominate, force the decision, remove all gray area. Shedeur's doing exactly that. He's dropping red zone touchdowns on command. He's calm in the pocket. He's accurate under pressure. And unlike Gabriel, he's not leaning on top-tier teammates to make it work. He's creating results out of nothing and doing it with consistency. But instead of being hailed as a breakout rookie, Shedeur is stuck in a waiting game. Why? Because his draft label says 5th round, and that's all the front office sees. The irony? The Browns might have stumbled into a franchise QB, and they're too prideful to admit it. Watch Shedeur Sanders for just 1 series, and you'll see it. The poise, the timing, the ball placement. It doesn't look like a rookie trying to figure it out. It looks like a pro who already knows where the ball's going before the defense does. One throw in particular turned heads. A red zone laser into tight coverage, placed so perfectly the receiver didn't even need to break stride. That's not luck. That's precision. That's film room study, timing, and next-level feel for the game. And he's doing it without the benefit of the Browns' top offensive weapons. Now ask yourself, what happens when Shedeur finally gets a clean pocket? When he's throwing to wide receiver 1 instead of a practice squad target? When the playbook isn't limited to second-string installs? Riddick hinted at it, and it's the Browns' worst fear. Because if Shedeur is this effective with limited reps and limited talent around him, what happens when he's actually supported? He's already outperforming the guy they invested in. And if he gets equal footing, the gap could be humiliating. Front office politics can stall progress. But coaches care about one thing: winning. And from what insiders are saying, the coaching staff is paying very close attention to Shedeur Sanders. Even when he's practicing on a separate field, Kevin Stefanski and his assistants have been caught watching. Not by accident, not out of curiosity. They know what they're seeing. A quarterback who's operating with precision, confidence, and command, even with limited reps. They've seen Shedeur hit tight windows, They've seen him outplay more experienced guys in red zone drills. And more importantly, they've seen how the offense responds to him, how teammates rally, how the energy shifts when he takes the field. That doesn't happen with every rookie. No coach wants to start a season with the wrong quarterback. And while the front office may have their favorites based on draft status, coaches see performance with their own eyes. There's a growing tension now between what the execs want and what the tape shows, because at some point, politics can't protect poor play. And if Shedeur keeps stacking practices like this, the decision might be taken out of their hands. The Browns are running out of places to hide. Shedeur Sanders has made sure of that. They tried to bury him on the depth chart. They tried to limit his reps. They hoped the narrative would sort itself out quietly. But now, fans are noticing. The media is buzzing. Even insiders are starting to question what's really going on in Cleveland. This isn't just about one rookie anymore. It's about a franchise that can't afford to get it wrong again. They've seen what happens when talent gets ignored. They lived it with Baker Mayfield. They gambled on Deshaun Watson. And now they're sitting on a ticking clock with Shedeur. Because if he keeps performing and they still choose to bench him, that story writes itself. Another star let walk. Another headline embarrassment. Another reason Cleveland can't get it right. Louis Riddick didn't just drop a hot take. He exposed the pressure cooker building inside the Browns facility. The coaches know it. The front office feels it. And Shedeur? He's not going away. If Cleveland wants to avoid a full-blown QB controversy, they've got one option: face the truth or get steamrolled by it. Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to be a threat. He was supposed to be a long-term project, a fifth-round pick stashed behind veterans. But now, just days into camp, he's flicked the Browns' quarterback room upside down. He's not just keeping up, he's outshining the guys drafted ahead of him. And that scares people. Because if Shedeur succeeds, it means the Browns front office got it wrong. Again. It means draft status doesn't protect you. It means politics. Louis Riddick didn't say it lightly. He's seen this before. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, guys who weren't supposed to start until they left coaches no choice. Shedeur is following that script step for step. And Cleveland is now at a crossroads. Do they double down on past decisions? Or admit that the most electric QB in the building might be the one they didn't see coming? Whatever they choose, this story's just beginning. Because Shedeur isn't backing down. And if the Browns keep trying to slow him down, they won't just have a quarterback controversy. They'll have a mutiny. And if history is any guide, the kid with the chip on his shoulder usually wins.